They keep asking me one question. What does your perfect wife look like? They expect me to describe a face, a smile, a pair of beautiful eyes, or a dream that belongs in a movie. They think success changes the answer. It doesn't. Success destroys illusions. When you've built something from nothing, when you've watched people arrive, only after the applause started, you stop searching for perfection in appearance. You start searching for peace. Listen carefully, because this may save you years of regret. The most expensive mistake a person can make isn't investing in the wrong business. It isn't choosing the wrong career. It isn't losing money. The most expensive mistake is giving your heart to someone who is attracted to your success, but terrified of your struggle. That mistake doesn't just cost money. It costs time, energy, confidence, and sometimes your entire future. I learned that the world celebrates winners but rarely asks what they had to sacrifice to become one. Behind every visible victory are thousands of invisible decisions, lonely nights, silent battles, and moments when quitting felt easier than believing. During those moments, you discover something extraordinary. The right person doesn't appear when the lights are brightest. They become visible when everything around you is dark. That's why I no longer believe in the fantasy of finding a perfect wife. I believe in becoming the kind of person who can recognize extraordinary character before the world places a price tag on it. When I was chasing success, I thought I needed someone who would complete me. That idea almost destroyed me because incomplete people spend their lives expecting someone else to repair what only discipline, purpose, and self-respect can fix. Your future partner should never become your identity. They should become a companion to the identity you have already built. Think about a skyscraper. People admire the glass, the lights, and the height, but they never see the foundation buried beneath the ground. Relationships are exactly the same. Attraction is the glass. Commitment is the steel. Trust is the concrete. Shared purpose is the foundation. Remove the foundation, and eventually even the most beautiful structure becomes a disaster waiting to happen. Society teaches you to chase excitement. Experience teaches you to protect stability. There is a massive difference between someone who excites your emotions and someone who strengthens your future. One gives you temporary butterflies. The other gives you permanent confidence. One makes promises when life is easy. The other stays when everything becomes difficult. Learn to recognize the difference before life forces you to learn it through pain. If I could speak to the younger version of myself, I wouldn't tell him to make more money first. I wouldn't tell him to become famous faster or work longer hours. I would tell him to develop the ability to read character instead of charm. Charm can be rehearsed. Character is revealed under pressure. Anyone can sound supportive when your dreams are becoming reality. Very few people can encourage you while everyone else is laughing at your vision. That's the person worth protecting. That's the person worth respecting. My definition of a perfect wife has nothing to do with perfection at all. She doesn't have to agree with every decision I make, but she must respect the mission that gives those decisions meaning. She doesn't need to remove every obstacle from my path because real love doesn't eliminate struggle. It creates the courage to face struggle together. She understands that success is not measured by luxury alone. It is measured by integrity, peace of mind, and the ability to sleep without pretending to be someone you're not. And while the world keeps searching for flawless people, I keep searching for something much rarer, a heart that cannot be bought, a mind that continues to grow, and a spirit that remains humble whether life offers abundance or adversity. Because beauty changes with time, wealth rises and falls, fame comes and goes, but character compounds just like the greatest investment ever made. The person you choose to walk beside you will either multiply your future or quietly subtract from it every single day. Choose with wisdom, because one decision can shape the next 50 years of your life. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. Success does not protect you from loneliness. In many ways, it amplifies it. The higher you climb, the fewer people truly understand what your life feels like. Everyone sees the rewards. Almost no one sees the responsibility. They admire the house, but never ask how many nights you slept in your office before you could afford it. They notice the confidence, but never wonder how many times doubt tried to convince you to quit. That is why choosing the person who shares your life is not an emotional decision alone. It is one of the greatest strategic decisions you will ever make. Your future is not determined only by what you build. It is also determined by who stands beside you while you build it. The wrong relationship drains your focus a little every day, until your dreams begin to feel heavier than they were meant to. The right relationship does something completely different. It becomes a place where your mind can rest, your vision can expand, and your courage can recover before the next challenge arrives. Peace is not a luxury, it is a competitive advantage. A peaceful mind sees opportunities that an anxious mind overlooks. People often ask why some talented individuals never reach their potential. They assume it is because of a lack of intelligence, money, or opportunity. Sometimes that is true, but more often they underestimate the invisible forces shaping every decision. Constant drama destroys discipline. Endless arguments steal creative energy. Distrust weakens confidence. Emotional chaos is expensive, even when it never appears on a financial statement. Every successful life is built on thousands of focused decisions, and focus cannot survive where peace does not exist. That is why I stopped chasing someone who would impress the world. I started valuing someone who could protect the environment, where extraordinary things are created. Imagine planting the strongest seed in poisoned soil. The problem is not the seed. The environment determines the harvest. Your mind works exactly the same way. If your closest relationship constantly fills your days with fear, comparison, and insecurity, even your greatest gifts begin to shrink. But when your environment is built on trust, honesty, patience, and mutual respect, your potential expands naturally. Suddenly, you are not wasting energy proving yourself. You are investing energy becoming yourself. So what is my perfect wife? She is not perfect because she never makes mistakes. She is remarkable because she takes responsibility for them. She does not compete with my purpose. She strengthens it just as I strengthen hers. She does not measure love by expensive gifts or public attention. She measures it by consistency, honesty, and the willingness to keep showing up when life becomes uncomfortable. She understands that wealth is more than numbers in a bank account. Real wealth is waking up without fear, speaking without pretending, and building a future without carrying hidden resentment. She celebrates growth instead of feeling threatened by it. She knows that two people moving toward a meaningful future together will always travel farther than two people pulling in opposite directions. And I know something else that most people discover too late. Before asking whether someone is worthy of your future, ask whether you are worthy of the future you dream about. Become dependable before demanding loyalty. Become disciplined before expecting support. Become honest before asking for trust. Become emotionally strong before asking someone else to carry your burdens. The relationship you attract is often a reflection of the standards you live by every day. One day, if life blesses you with someone extraordinary, never confuse comfort with complacency. Keep growing, keep learning, keep listening. Never assume that love survives on yesterday's promises. Every sunrise is another invitation to earn each other's respect again. Protect your words because they become the atmosphere of your home. Protect your habits because they become the blueprint your family follows. Protect your vision because people without a shared direction eventually drift apart, no matter how deeply they once cared. The greatest relationships are not built by luck. They are built by two people who refuse to let pride become more important than purpose. Remember this whenever the world tells you to chase perfection. Perfection is an illusion, but character is a decision made every single day. And the person who chooses integrity when no one is watching, who chooses kindness when anger would be easier, who chooses loyalty when temptation appears, who chooses growth instead of excuses, that is the kind of person capable of building a legacy that outlives both success and failure. In the end, your greatest achievement will never be the empire you build. It will be the life you create with someone who makes you stronger, keeps you grounded, and reminds you that the richest person is not the one who owns the most, but the one who has someone beside them who believes in the person they are becoming. Now let me reveal the truth that changed everything for me. I stopped asking, "Where is my perfect wife?" and started asking, "Am I becoming the man who deserves an extraordinary partnership?" That single question shattered my excuses. It forced me to look in the mirror instead of looking out the window. We spend years creating lists of what we want from someone else, while ignoring the list of qualities we must build within ourselves. We demand loyalty while making compromises with our own principles. We expect understanding while refusing to understand ourselves. We ask for unwavering belief while secretly doubting our own potential. Life has a strange way of exposing those contradictions. The world doesn't simply respond to what you desire, it responds to who you become. The energy you carry, the standards you refuse to lower, the discipline you practice when nobody is watching, the promises you keep, even when breaking them would be easier. These invisible habits quietly shape every opportunity that enters your life. That is why I no longer believe destiny is something you wait for. Destiny is something you prepare for. Every morning you choose growth over comfort. Every evening you choose purpose over distraction. You are building a future that your present self cannot yet fully imagine. One day, you'll realize that the greatest blessings never arrived because you begged for them. They arrived because you finally became capable of carrying them. Think about the strongest bridges ever built. They are not tested on sunny days when the river is calm. Their true strength is revealed during storms, when powerful currents try to tear them apart. Relationships are no different. Anyone can smile during seasons of abundance. Anyone can celebrate when victories come one after another. But when uncertainty enters the room, when plans collapse, when opportunities disappear, when the world suddenly becomes silent, that is when love either becomes unbreakable or disappears completely. I don't want someone who only believes in me after the headlines celebrate my success. I want someone who can still see possibility when the scoreboard says I'm losing. Because real vision is not the ability to admire success. Real vision is the courage to believe before success becomes visible. That kind of belief cannot be purchased. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be performed for attention. It is built through trust, shared values, and countless moments when two people choose commitment over convenience. Never underestimate the power of having one person who reminds you who you are when the world tries to convince you that you've become less. One genuine voice can silence 1,000 opinions. One sincere conversation can restore the confidence that fear spent months trying to destroy. And one relationship built on truth can become the quiet force behind achievements that the world will mistakenly call luck. So if you are listening to this, while wondering whether your future holds the right person, stop chasing certainty and start building certainty within yourself. Let your ambition become disciplined instead of desperate. Let your confidence come from your character instead of your circumstances. Build your health, sharpen your mind, honor your word, master your emotions, and protect your peace as if your entire future depends on it, because it does. The right person will never rescue you from becoming who you are meant to be. They will inspire you to become even more of it. They won't replace your purpose. They will remind you of it whenever the road becomes difficult. And if life has not yet brought that person into your story, don't mistake the waiting season for a wasted season. Some of the most valuable preparation happens in silence, where nobody applauds your discipline, where nobody notices your sacrifices, and where your greatest victories are invisible to everyone except you. Keep growing there, keep believing there, keep becoming there. Because one day, when your paths finally cross, you won't need to convince each other with empty words or temporary appearances. Your lives will recognize the work that each of you did when nobody was watching. That is the moment you will understand something most people never do. The perfect wife was never someone without flaws, just as the perfect husband was never someone without failures. The perfect partnership is created when two imperfect people refuse to stop growing, refuse to stop respecting one another, and refuse to let temporary emotions destroy a future that was built with intention. Build yourself into someone whose presence brings peace, whose vision creates hope, and whose integrity remains unshaken through every season. Because in the end, the greatest love story is not about finding perfection. It is about becoming the kind of person who transforms ordinary moments into an extraordinary life, side by side, with someone who chooses you again and again, not because you are flawless, but because together you never stop becoming better than yesterday. There is one final lesson I wish someone had whispered to me long before success ever found my name. Protect your future before you celebrate it. Most people insure their homes, their businesses, their investments, and their careers, yet they leave the most valuable part of their lives completely unguarded: the quality of the person they allow into their inner world. The wrong investment can be recovered, a failed business can be rebuilt, lost money can be earned again. But years spent walking beside someone who constantly pulls you away from your purpose are years that no amount of wealth can ever buy back. Time is the only currency that never returns once it has been spent. That is why wisdom is more valuable than excitement. Excitement fades. Wisdom compounds. It quietly protects every decision that shapes the next decade of your life. Never let loneliness negotiate your standards. Never let pressure convince you that almost right is good enough. A temporary emptiness is far less dangerous than a permanent mistake. The world rushes people into relationships because it fears being alone. But being alone for a season can strengthen your vision. Being with the wrong person for a lifetime can slowly erase it. Learn the difference before life teaches it through regret. I have met people with extraordinary talent who lived ordinary lives because they constantly searched for external validation instead of internal conviction. They wanted applause before effort, recognition before sacrifice, certainty before action. Relationships suffer from the same misunderstanding. Many people enter them hoping someone else will remove their fears, heal their past, and give their life meaning. That expectation is too heavy for any human being to carry. No partner, no matter how loving, can replace the work you must do within yourself. Confidence is built through promises you keep to yourself. Peace is earned by living in alignment with your values. Respect grows every time you choose discipline over impulse. When those qualities become part of your identity, love transforms from a desperate need into a powerful choice. Then you no longer ask, "Who will make me happy?" You begin asking, "Who will help us build a meaningful life together?" That single shift changes everything. It moves your attention from temporary emotions to lasting legacy. It teaches you that real abundance is not measured by luxury cars, impressive homes, or public admiration. Those things can decorate a life, but they cannot define it. Real abundance is waking up each morning with purpose in your heart, integrity in your decisions, gratitude in your spirit, and someone beside you who inspires you to become even stronger than you were yesterday. So if you remember only one message from everything I have shared, let it be this. Your future is watching the decisions you make today. Every standard you refuse to lower, every distraction you refuse to chase, every habit you refuse to compromise, every moment you choose growth over comfort, is shaping a life that your future family will one day inherit. Don't build your life around finding a perfect wife. Build a life so rooted in purpose, wisdom, courage, and integrity that the right partnership becomes a natural extension of the person you have become. Let your dreams be bigger than your fears. Let your discipline be louder than your excuses. Let your character become your greatest reputation long before success introduces your name to the world. And when life finally places someone extraordinary beside you, never take that gift for granted. Protect it with honesty. Strengthen it with patience. Nourish it with respect. Lead it with humility. Celebrate it with gratitude, because the strongest relationships are not built by people who never face storms. They are built by people who refuse to let the storm become stronger than their commitment. One day, when you look back on your journey, the greatest achievement will not be the wealth you accumulated or the titles you earned. It will be the realization that you built a life worth sharing, a legacy worth leaving, and a love strong enough to inspire generations long after your own story has been told. That is the real definition of success. That is the victory that outlives every trophy. And that is why the question was never, "Where is my perfect wife?" The real question has always been, am I becoming the kind of person who can recognize, honor, and protect an extraordinary partner when destiny finally brings our paths together? The moment your answer becomes yes, your entire future begins to change. And if you are still waiting, don't let waiting become an excuse for standing still. This chapter of your life is not an empty hallway between two important moments. It is the workshop where your future is being built. Every difficult morning that teaches you discipline, every disappointment that strengthens your patience, every failure that forces you to grow wiser is preparing you for responsibilities you cannot yet see. People often pray for extraordinary blessings while resisting the ordinary habits required to sustain them. They want the destination without embracing the journey that makes the destination meaningful. But life has never worked that way. Every lasting success is built one decision at a time. Every meaningful relationship is strengthened one honest conversation at a time. Every powerful legacy is created one faithful day at a time. Never underestimate the value of becoming consistent. Talent may attract attention, but consistency earns trust. Beauty may capture someone's eyes, but character captures their respect. Wealth may open doors, but integrity determines who remains beside you after those doors close. Build the invisible qualities that no camera can capture, because those are the qualities that quietly shape every visible success. Your private habits become your public future. Your silent choices become your loudest achievements. Long before the world recognizes your greatness, your character has already decided the direction of your life. I have learned that love is not a finish line waiting at the end of success. It is a responsibility that grows alongside success. The bigger your vision becomes, the greater your responsibility to remain humble, grateful, and emotionally grounded. Never become so obsessed with building an empire that you forget why you wanted to build it in the first place. Wealth should give you freedom, not arrogance. Influence should increase your responsibility, not your ego. Achievement should deepen your gratitude, not your pride. The people who leave the strongest legacy are not remembered simply because they earned more than everyone else. They are remembered because they lifted others while they climbed. They protected the people they loved. They honored their promises when breaking them would have been easier. They chose principles over popularity, truth over convenience, and purpose over temporary pleasure. That is the kind of life worth pursuing. That is the kind of partnership worth waiting for. Imagine reaching the highest peak only to discover that you climbed it with someone who never believed in your vision. Success would feel strangely empty. Now imagine walking a difficult road with someone who reminds you, every single day, that your purpose matters, your effort matters, and your future is worth fighting for. Even the hardest journey begins to feel meaningful because you are no longer carrying the weight alone. So before this message ends, I want you to make a promise. Not to me, but to the person you will become. Promise that you will never trade your purpose for temporary attention. Promise that you will never lower your standards because loneliness whispers that time is running out. Promise that you will continue investing in your mind, your health, your discipline, your values, and your vision even when nobody notices your progress. Because one day, someone will benefit from the person you are becoming today. Your future family will benefit from the patience you are learning now. Your future partner will benefit from the wisdom you gain through today's struggles. Your future children may never fully understand the battles you fought in silence, but they will live inside the peace those battles created. That is how true success echoes across generations. It is not measured by applause, it is measured by impact. So walk forward with confidence. Let every setback become a lesson instead of a limitation. Let every challenge become proof that you are capable of carrying greater responsibility. Believe that the right opportunities, the right people, and the right season will arrive when preparation meets purpose. And when that day comes, you won't need to ask whether you found perfection. You will smile because you finally understand that the greatest blessing was never finding a perfect wife. It was becoming a person capable of building an extraordinary life with another imperfect soul who shares your values, strengthens your purpose, and chooses, every single day, to write the next chapter of your story together. That is the kind of love that cannot be manufactured, the kind of success that cannot be purchased, and the kind of legacy that time itself cannot erase. If this message leaves you with one final truth, let it be this. Stop chasing the illusion of perfection and start pursuing the reality of purpose. The right relationship is not a reward for luck. It is the result of becoming someone who lives with integrity, discipline, humility, and unwavering vision. Don't measure your life by how quickly someone enters it. Measure it by the quality of the person you become while you're waiting. Every challenge has been shaping your judgment. Every setback has been strengthening your character. Every lonely season has been teaching you the value of peace over noise, depth over appearance, and commitment over convenience. One day, you will look back and realize that the delays you once questioned were actually protecting you from paths that could never have fulfilled your destiny. You will understand that every lesson, every sacrifice, every silent victory was preparing you for a future that required a stronger version of you. And when you finally stand beside someone who shares your values, respects your mission, celebrates your growth, and remains loyal through every season, you won't call it luck. You'll call it preparation meeting opportunity. So walk away from this moment with your head held high, build your mind, strengthen your body, guard your character, expand your vision, create wealth without losing your values, chase excellence without sacrificing your peace. Become so grounded in purpose that temporary distractions no longer have the power to steal your future. Remember, extraordinary lives are not built by extraordinary moments alone. They are built by ordinary decisions repeated with extraordinary consistency. And if the world asks you again, what does your perfect wife look like? Smile, because you'll know the answer has never been about appearance. It's about character, it's about shared purpose, it's about two imperfect people choosing growth over ego, faith over fear, discipline over comfort, and commitment over convenience. Every single day. Your future is not waiting for a perfect person. Your future is waiting for the strongest version of you. Become that person. The rest will follow.